It was Dante who wrote, "A great flame follows a little spark. A little spark, a small idea. A single vision can be the catalyst that changes the lives of millions around the world." The spark that ignited Phi Theta Kappa began in the early 1900s when America was transforming. Over 8 million immigrants poured into the United States, seeking the freedom, equality, and opportunity promised by the American dream. The population surged. Almost half of all Americans lived in cities. Public two-year colleges were born, a uniquely American invention. These forerunners of today's community colleges focus solely on the first 2 years of college education. Known as people's colleges, they were funded to enhance their community and offer low-cost, higher education to all. Education meant upward mobility. Teachers were needed to meet the rising elementary school population. And nurses and doctors needed training to treat the country's growing medical needs. As World War I ended, the country reveled in a time of economic growth and prosperity. Wages were higher. Rising technologies like electricity and radio, and the mass production of cars, refrigerators, and washing machines made life easier and more affordable. Women would gain the right to vote and pursue education. With the country brimming with hope, our founders, students from 8 junior colleges for women, assisted by their college presidents, met at Stevens College in Columbia, Missouri, drew Greek letters out of a hat to assign chapter names, and set alight a vision, a powerful catalyst, a national honor society called Phi Theta Kappa, an honor society forged from a belief in the value of scholarship, leadership, service, and fellowship. It would grow to be the guiding force of the future for community college students around the world for the next 100 years. As America enjoys the roaring 20s, more community colleges spring up. The American Association of Junior Colleges, now the American Association of Community Colleges, is formed to be the national voice of community colleges, providing advocacy, leadership, and service to advance the recognition of community colleges in society and foster student success. Phi Theta Kappa blossoms beyond its beginnings. We had our first chapter at a co-educational school and our first chapter outside of Missouri. And when America suffers a tragic blow, Phi Theta Kappa helps members face it all and stand tall, spreading hope and opening opportunities as enrollment in community colleges and Phi Theta Kappa explodes, with young people desperately seeking education to find jobs and feed their families. At this crucial time, the American Association of Junior Colleges recognizes the value and promise of Phi Theta Kappa and names us the official honor society for two-year colleges. This distinction transformed Phi Theta Kappa into an honor society focused on the enrichment and growth of its members, not just academic recognition. Opening membership to freshmen, Phi Theta Kappa stressed service to one's community, to develop members as leaders of positive change, as well as being exceptional scholars. As community college enrollment continues to increase throughout the 1930s, an inspiring leader emerges as our national president, then is later elected national secretary. Margaret James Moselle moves Phi Theta Kappa to Mississippi, carrying all of the society's records in a single card catalog drawer. From these humble beginnings, she would fan the flame of Phi Theta Kappa with heart, vitality, and vision, leading us to new heights for decades to come.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. The Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii by air.
As America entered the 1940s, we were a nation at war. While millions of men left high school and college and marched, fired, and flew, millions of women drilled, fitted, and fastened. Community college enrollment takes a backseat to battle, and Phi Theta Kappa's growth slows. With gas restrictions in place to fuel our fighters, we play our part in the war effort and cancel national conventions. We don't travel, but we don't stand still. Forging forward, we launch a new vehicle to motivate and develop our members as scholars and leaders. The National Study Program. It would become the honors study topic. With battles fought and victories won, the GI Bill of Rights is passed, granting financial aid and education benefits for homebound heroes. In 1946, new President Harry Truman calls for national equality in higher education, creating a network of community colleges that would serve the community, with academic and personal development courses for all who wish to learn, at little or no cost. Enrollment in community colleges balloons, increasing by double. Soldiers seek job training, and women trade labor for learning. America endures another war in the 1950s, and more soldiers return to reap the rewards of the GI Bill. Membership climbs and conventions return. We add almost 110 new chapters. Setting standards and encouraging excellence, Phi Theta Kappa inspires our members with our first awards, the Best Chapter, the Moselle Cup for Best Scrapbook, and the Travel Award. Bonds are strengthened when the American Association of Junior Colleges asks Margaret Moselle to host the first President's Breakfast.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
With a young, vibrant new family in the White House and a dynamic, inspiring leader fighting for civil rights, the country is on the brink of hopeful change. An ever-evolving catalyst, Phi Theta Kappa offers a new way for members to share and grow. We hold our first regional meeting in Denver, Colorado. This single meeting would spark a tradition that would grow to 29 regions across the world. Hand to hand, heart to heart, class by class, connections made and friendships forged, empowering millions of our members across the globe.
Three, two, one, zero.
In the mid-1960s, as our nation races to the stars to chart another world, our own is torn and in turmoil. War wages not just overseas, but at home. Some barriers are broken. Thurgood Marshall becomes our first Black Supreme Court Justice. But cultures clash in our cities, and leaders are lost. Hopes dashed, and dreams left unfulfilled. But the dream for a better future surges like never before, and America builds almost one community college per week. The baby boom generation has come of age, and so do we, building our first national office and establishing our first board of directors. To celebrate our 50th birthday, we blaze a trail for academic excellence with a bold new idea, the Honors Institute, a catalyst that would spark intellectual challenge and discussion, and open the minds and hearts of our members for the next 50 years. Phi Theta Kappa doubles in size. We add over 250 more chapters. With more members come faces of color and collaboration of cultures. And in 1969, we elect our first Black national officer.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
The race for the moon would bring groundbreaking science, calculators, and computers. But the 1970s would bring scandal and strife. With inflation and unemployment on the rise, students flock to community colleges, hoping training in technology will open doors for jobs. Membership spikes and Phi Theta Kappa adds nearly 200 more chapters. continuing to pave a path for students seeking success. A Phi Theta Kappan makes his mark. Fred Hayes flies on Apollo 13 and takes a Phi Theta Kappa Athena pin into space. And a single idea from visionary Dr. Jack Geistweit, an incentive to attract outstanding scholars to Florida Atlantic University by lending a helping hand, becomes our first transfer scholarship. It would be the key that today opens doors to 750 universities worldwide, valued at $37 million in transfer scholarships. Dollar by dollar, and dream by dream, helping members fund their futures and pursue goals they never thought possible. Madonna, Michael, and MTV, Pac-Man and parachute pants, big hair and big shoulders, Rubik's Cubes and Reaganomics. 1980s America is urged to buy to save a failing economy. Tax cuts trigger a shift in focus for community colleges with a push on more specialized training to promote employment. Immigration policies change. A flood of new faces brings more diversity to community colleges and Phi Theta Kappa. It's a time of influence and expansion as our members make an impact. Phi Theta Kappan Dr. Jean Kirkpatrick becomes the first female U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Always focused on service, hundreds of chapters across the country raise funds for our National Service Project to help restore our country's greatest symbol of freedom. Our first Black national president is elected, the first student to address a general session at an AACC convention. And as Phi Theta Kappa celebrates a milestone, chapters in all 50 states, our first national scholar is honored in our nation's capital.
This has been a city physically divided for 28 years, but now it's come together, east and west.
A wall falls. Communism crumbles. Borders are crossed and barricades broken. Groundbreaking technologies emerge that will radically transform the future. The 1990s are a dawn of a new world. Phi Theta Kappa expands our focus and our footprint, challenging members to think differently and broaden their horizons, with our first Leadership Development Studies program, funded by a $1.8 million grant from the W.K. Kellogg Foundation. We widen our reach, initiating our first international chapter. We change the name of our highest positions of student leadership. National officers are now called international officers, as we elect our first officer from a chapter outside the United States. We turn 75 and grow to 1 million strong. We set in motion a showcase for the literary excellence of our members, publishing our first Nota Bene, today seen in over 1,700 libraries worldwide. Phi Theta Kappa shows we care as we launch an international service project with the Ryan White Foundation to promote compassion, understanding, and education about AIDS. Chapters create quilt panels as 28 regions show support for the cause. And in 1997, we moved to the Center for Excellence, one building, building leaders of tomorrow, advising, encouraging, energizing, forging pathways and fueling dreams, a brick-and-mortar catalyst built on our beliefs that knowledge is power, the impossible is possible, and one member can make a difference.
I think we have a terrorist act of proportions that we cannot begin to imagine at this juncture.
The 21st century has brought destruction that shook our nation to its core, and devastation that rocked our neighbors around the globe. victories that broke old barriers,
The next first family of the United States of America.
This landmark ruling, the court making same-sex marriage legal in this country across every state in this nation.
and violence that broke our hearts. Googling, texting, tweeting, navigating, swiping, and Snapchatting. It's all shaped us into who we are today. Phi Theta Kappa is a culture of caring. As we lend a hand and open our hearts. When we lost one of our own on 9/11, we helped members rebound and rebuild. We began a partnership to contribute and conquer, raising over $3.9 million, and we've reached out and shown support when others needed it most. Our majors reflect our values, a sense of duty to serve others, a desire to celebrate our differences, and a passion to make the world a better place for all. The millennial generation brought a rush of students to community colleges bigger than the baby boomers. And in 2006, the Phi Theta Kappa family spiked to 2 million members. With elite four-year institutions recruiting more community college students than ever before, Phi Theta Kappa launches College Fish, the first online tool of its kind to help members find transfer colleges and scholarships. Today, 3 out of every 4 members transfer to a 4-year college or university.
I've set a goal. By 2020, America will once again lead the world in producing college graduates. And I believe community colleges will play a huge part in meeting this goal.
In 2009, President Obama sets a goal to raise college graduation rates, to combat record-high unemployment and raise the U.S. from a recession. Phi Theta Kappa answers the charge and unveils the Community College Completion Corps. With dedication and drive, thousands of members across the country pledge and promise and commit to complete. Today, Phi Theta Kappa members have a student success rate of 91%. In 2010, we award our first Heights Scholarships, the largest grants ever offered only to Phi Theta Kappans. And the power of Phi Theta Kappa shows stronger than ever when one of our members goes from homeless to Harvard. Always innovating to support student success, we create our first scholarship to aid members in the workforce. And always believing in the power of positivity, we open membership to those who need a second chance. In the 2000s, we formed the Phi Theta Kappa Foundation to raise funds to support our society in the fulfillment of the Phi Theta Kappa mission. Partnering with distinguished organizations that generously support projects and programs, these funds have an invaluable impact on our society. Created on the notion that acts of kindness can reap big rewards, the gifts given to the foundation offer life-changing opportunities to students that allow them to think bigger, reach higher, go farther, and receive the greatest return on their efforts. Phi Theta Kappa has been a catalyst, inspiring more than 3.5 million members in nearly 1,300 chapters around the world. Outstanding honor students, on campus and online. From every background, each gender, and all generations, who have set goals, met challenges, and achieved greatness for 100 years. So when we light the torch and take the stage, when you say your pledge and wear your pin, you are part of the power of our past. One spark that fuels a brilliant flame, a catalyst with influence and impact, changing who you are to who you will be, and changing our world for a better tomorrow. learning, leading, serving, completing. You are the force of our future. You are Phi Theta Kappa.